Hey, rustic tart again. I mentioned earlier I was going to make elderberry syrup, and I have some still pictures that I will put on the blog of the things that you use for the elderberry syrup. The first thing, it's for cough and building immunity. They've used it in Europe for hundreds of years, really, to build up immunity and help with bronchial type things. It really helps when you have the flu and that sort of thing. And you can buy an elderberry syrup called Sambucol at any drugstore, and it's very expensive. So what I did was, now you can make friends with your friendly neighborhood health food store, or food co-op is an excellent resource for ordering dried berries. They have to be the elderberries that are European, Sambuca nigris. You'll see the label when I post it onto the blog. So you take 2/3 of a cup of those berries, and you take 3.5 cups of water and a very generous couple of nubs of fresh ginger. You grate the fresh ginger into the pan. You pour the 3.5 cups of water in. You pour in the 2/3 cup of elderberry, and it also calls for a teaspoon of cinnamon, which you put in at the end after it's cooked. You have to reduce it by half, and you could also add a teaspoon of cloves. The cloves aren't my favorite, so I didn't do the teaspoon of cloves. And then this is the thing that you have to do next. I have cheesecloth on a strainer, and I have it over my big measuring bowl that I measured the 3.5 cups of water into. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this liquid into this strainer with the cheesecloth, because what I'm going to eventually do is press this cheesecloth. I'm going to press all the liquid out of this cheesecloth that is still contained in these berries. Now, a friend of mine on Facebook made elderberry syrup, and she doesn't like to throw anything away. If she watches this, she'll know who she is. She doesn't like to throw anything away, so she was eating these cooked berries, and apparently there's still some stems on them, and if you eat too many, they actually do, if you eat too many of the stems and things, they will cause gastric upset. Now I can see a few stems on these. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to start pressing. Now this is not a very good color. It's just not. It's a natural thing. The berries turn a brownish color when they cook. The Sambucol that you can buy in a grocery store is a very pretty purple color, and it's very expensive. It is like $16 for 6 ounces. So I ordered 1 pound of elderberries in November for something like $18.98. I used Frontier Herbs. And you can, like I said, local health food store is going to have access to Frontier Herbs. So is your favorite online retailer, which is another option. So I paid like just about $19 for a pound of these. And this is my 6th batch of syrup, and when I pour it in this quart jar, you're going to see how full it is. Each one makes probably, less than 2 cups, because when you're cooking it, you want to reduce it by half. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm pressing it. Okay, I'm actually getting my hands in here, and I'm squeezing this cheesecloth. This is one of the greatest things you can do with cheesecloth. If you have Greek yogurt and you want it thicker, you can put it into a cheesecloth, and you can hang it over something like this sieve overnight, and you will get a thick cheese-like yogurt, and all the tanginess will virtually be out of it because it's going to drain all that whey. Okay, so I'm continuing to squeeze this. I'm squeezing it really hard. So this is just a mini workout today. Alright, so I think I've squeezed that quite enough, and I'm going to discard these berries I'm not going to eat them on ice cream or anything. And you can't add your honey until this is cooled down. So now I'm going to take a clean quart jar, and I'm going to pour this beautiful syrup that is cooked out of the berries and the gingerbread and the cinnamon. And I'm pouring it in here, and yes, I got just under 2 cups, which is about right because you wanted to reduce by half. It's actually probably closer to 1.5 cups, but that's okay. I reduced it, and that's all right. It doesn't matter. I don't think you can screw it up. You take about 3 tablespoons of this a day. Right now I'm going to squeeze. It calls for 1 cup of honey, but I'm not going to use a full cup of honey because a full cup of raw honey really makes this sweet. So I've got about 3/4 cup of raw honey right here, and I don't even know if I'm going to use the whole thing. If you have really little children and you want to give this to them and they're under 2 years old, there's a problem with honey, and you'll need to talk to your pediatrician about that. You would need to use a different sweetener than honey for this syrup if it's for children under 2. So you would want to use agave or natural maple syrup or something like that. Okay, here I am. I'm stirring that honey into this syrup, and you want to take about 3 tablespoons of this a day throughout I did it in the fall. I should have probably started in October, but I started in November. We did slightly get the flu, but not for 3 weeks like most people did. We got it for maybe 5 days, something like that, which I don't think is too bad, really. So there it is, all stirred up, and you can store this in your refrigerator. So it's like 3 tablespoons a day. Unless you're really sick, then you can probably squeeze in another 1 or 2. Now, this will keep in your refrigerator. That's why I always save mason jars. It's going to keep in your refrigerator for 2 to 3 weeks. So, there it is, homemade elderberry syrup. And it probably cost me $8 for 2 cups, which is 16 ounces, versus $16 for 6 ounces of the fancy brand. Okay, now I have purple fingers, but that's okay. All right, so homemade elderberry syrup. The recipe will be posted on therustictart.blogspot.com. If you have an email question, you can email me at therustictart@gmail.com. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Rustic Tart.